Hey everybody, it's Carlos from Immortals Inc. Podcast. With me today I have Mikey.
What's up, everybody?
We're going to go a little off the beaten track here, but we're not, because I have a lot of people that get excited about playing D&D or DMing or DMing, game mastering.
Yeah,
you know what that is,
and
game mastering, dungeon mastering. And people get really, they get overwhelmed by it immediately. This doesn't have to be something serious or over the top or anything crazy. The easiest ways are what's the word I'm looking for? The easiest ways are modules and stuff like that.
Like one shots and stuff like that.
Yeah, one shots and
Adventures League on
guides,
Sundays and
like
Wednesdays.
stuff. It's easy entry point. The hard one, and I always thought was like Cthulhu was a hard one because it's hard to do horror for people because you have to convey that amount of horror to that person. It has to feel like he's in dire straits or needs, and it can be hard because sometimes it breaks down into just ridiculousness. Like the example I give is one time I was trying to run a horror campaign, Call of Cthulhu, with a bunch of D&D players. Well, they couldn't grasp the concept. They're like, well, I'm going to take a machine gun with me. Why are you taking a machine gun? You're an accountant. You know what I'm saying? Like,
isn't it like 1920s?
Yeah, why would you have that? Like, if you gave me a reason, like one guy came up and goes, well, we're going out to the countryside, so I'm going to take my shotgun, my double barrel, so I can go do some hunting. Okay, that's an answer. Now, that ain't going to do much good against, the horrors that are out there, but at least it's something and a reason,
Yeah.
I have a Browning Thompson machine gun and, mounted on the side of my
mythical automatic sniper rifle.
Yeah, no, that's not how
These are
horror
military
works.
grade weapons you're trying to get in a system that doesn't even, I get it.
It's also hard to have new people introduced to it, like just people that don't normally play. Well, the greatest thing I've noticed is I like horror movies because they just, I don't know, they make you feel.
Evidently so if you watch the podcast,
Yeah, I do enjoy a good horror movie, and I do like to be scared, which it becomes as years go by.
You're
harder.
Like, boo, whoa.
Yeah, it becomes harder and harder.
Whoa, I'm scared.
But a good introduction is something, you can have lighthearted horror,
not Lamentations.
Yeah, Lamentations is not lighthearted. Everybody's dead. No, wait, they're not quite dead. We're going to take this somewhere else. But you can have something that introduces to you. And I think sometimes, especially small, like indie films or small press or something that, just shows something funny, or it injects a little humor into horror, because the best horror is humor, like Evil Dead. You ever see the original Evil Deads with Ash or Army of Darkness? Yeah. Yes, that's mixing horror with humor. A little more humor, but still, if you watched it, the first one was...
No, Shaun of the Dead is more humor.
Shaun of the Dead is more humor injected with horror, but at the end, it gets really intense there, you know what I'm saying? So you can easily have short little adventures, like one-shots to show somebody something. And a perfect example is, who... And this is going to blow your mind. You know who Roddy Piper is?
Yes. Are you talking about the WWF?
Yeah.
Roddy Piper?
He was in a lot of horror movies, right? He was in a few horror movies.
Really?
You've never seen them or they?
Well, are you talking about the newer ones?
No. These are 80s.
No.
John Carpenter worked with him.
No.
Hell Comes to Frogtown.
No.
Okay. You've never heard somebody say, "I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass," and I'm all out of bubblegum.
I've heard
That's
that.
Roddy Piper from the movie. Anyway, they come up with some good stuff that could be. These are inspirations to write stories. Like, obviously, anything that's a movie version would be like an epic campaign. I found some stuff that I really enjoyed, and I pulled it up on your computer. I want to want you to watch it. It's 10 minutes. Watch it while I go do a personal bathroom break. Watch it and tell me that wouldn't help you. You wouldn't want to play that as a one shot with your friends, even if you didn't know anything about D&D or Call of Cthulhu or anything.
So you're telling me after I watch this, I'll probably feel inspired to do one of those.
Yeah, tell me that's not a simple entry point, like such a simple little adventure or something they can go. It's called A Portal to Hell by Roddy.
I'll put the link in the description.
Yeah,
of this
it is.
video.
It's a short video. I want you to watch it, and it's not even like the film technique or anything like that. It's the fact that it's a simple little adventure that you could use to give you ideas to introduce players to something different.
All right, go.
Yes, ma'am. You got it.
Roddy Piper's an actor, man. You can't read. No, I'm just kidding. Slow reader. Somebody keeps ringing the phone and he's kind of
That's the
PO'd.
third time it's broken in 2 weeks. Butter it.
Butter it. She's asking him to butter his toast.
Hey,
Somebody's having a seance in the basement.
what the hell
And you
you
just
guys
walk
doing
by.
down here?
So these two old guys are trying to summon Cthulhu.
is powered from the darkness beyond.
I like the tidy whities. It's like tidy whities in a robe.
60 amp Nava tube system.
He's enthralled by Cthulhu. Like Carlos is now. And didn't even... I'm not going to explain what happened, guys. You have to watch it for yourself. Let's just use a mop to take out 2 cultists. Ooh, that was a good line right there. God's got nothing to do with it. This dude. He got Nickelodeon slimed by Cthulhu tentacles. It's pretty great. Links in the description.
So, tell me that you wouldn't play in a game like that.
No,
the
that's really
player
cool.
characters are like, you see Roddy Piper, and then the rest of them are all player characters in a horror world. So, that is how easy you could tell a little story like that.
Yeah,
What was that video? 10 minutes?
Yeah, 12 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes, 2 minutes of credits.
But it was like such a simple little story. You could watch that, and I'm sure somebody wrote an adventure based on that, but I forgot about that little gem, and I happened to be scrolling through something, and I saw it. I'm like, oh, this would be a good starter adventure.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to have to look for it.
That'd be pretty cool. Did they just make that? Like, is Roddy a part of those things? Like,
Yeah, he was a big, before he passed away, obviously, but before he passed away, he was big into horror movies. He did a lot of little things like that. He liked it, he did it. And, but that's a little short independent film. Obviously the budget's probably low. I mean,
I don't know. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good for
Not
like,
bad. Not
pretty good
bad.
for an old. It's got to be 4 or 5 years old, that thing.
Right.
So, and it's just the example I wanted to show was that is how easy it is. If you go ahead and watch it, take 10 minutes out of your time. That is how easy it is to come up with an adventure for something that everybody can play in. Now, as a GM, as a game master, you could run something like that easily. That is such a short one little story. There's no big backstory to it. You come in, you could literally make those characters up for somebody and say, here's your characters, because there's 5 people.
Yeah.
5 people, and hopefully you can survive it. And it's such a simple little 1-shot 4-hour adventure that who lives, who dies.
Yeah.
And comes up with that. So it's not hard to DM these things.
No.
There's plenty of ideas out there. I guess that was the whole gist of it. I just saw.
No, that's a good. That's a good. One of the things I didn't like about the Cthulhu universe was that you don't know where to start. You don't know. You don't get the feel of it, but that video captures the feel of
like a more modern feel of it.
Like, more modern feel.
Like I can get, since I'm older, I get the ideas of, before a cell phone, before instant communication. I can understand that. And then I had, people that, my grandparents and stuff like that. We're talking to guys, you wouldn't talk to some, you'd have to write them a letter and wait for 6 months to see if they're alive. You know what I'm saying? So the isolation is different, and it's hard to get that Eldritch horror of the old times to say, oh man, the idea I would just call somebody, or I have this, or I have access to that. No, it's different then. You know what I'm saying? Like even when you and John talked about Delta Green and Vietnam era, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was totally different rules and a different kind of horror, but you were still out in the middle of a jungle going, why am I here? You know what I'm saying?
Satellite backpacks you're telling me about. Bring it up.
Yeah, the field phones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? So, the idea of it, but that I think has a nice little modern twist on something, where they're like, that could be any city. That could be Cleveland.
I recommend you guys watch that video.
That could literally take place in Cleveland, and you could just set that in Cleveland and in any, apartment building or anything, it just sets that way.
Yeah, it looks like it was in Cleveland.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It does, So it's like, it's easy to come up with little adventures, but use those as a springboard, because I have all sorts of ideas, and a lot of ideas for adventures, for lack of a better word, I steal from, horror movies and stuff like that, because I'm not that smart. I can't come up with these things. But you can grab what you can from that and run with it and have a good time.
Yeah.
So that's, wanted you to see that how easy it is to make a horror adventure
No.
that you could show that to anybody who know nothing about Cthulhu or the background.
You could show it to a GM or DM, and they will probably feel inspired to start a whole new campaign story.
But even your friends like that don't play, you could show them, and it's just to them it's a horror
They'd
movie.
be like, what is this?
Yeah, but it's an introduction to. You don't need to know anything about Cthulhu or any of that craziness. It's just you got a couple of cultists, you got a monster, and you got terrible things that happen very quickly.
Handyman, yeah.
Yeah,
Guy afraid of heights.
Yeah, and then nobody there is a superhero.
No.
Yeah, the one, they're all just normal people with problems.
No, dude.
Yeah, it's like
Pretty graphic, too.
Yeah,
so.
it quickly shows you what problems they have and what the issues are. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, give it a chance. Portal Hell, watch it if you're looking for GM ideas or game ideas and stuff like that. And he's gonna put the link in the description.
Right below. Subscribe.
And if you like what we if you like what you have to talk about, give us a subscribe, give us a follow, give us any of that above. All right, in the meantime.
Peace out, guys.